uppercut, uppercut, sonic boom! Well, hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, if you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Bushka, and this one's from my good mate Shahab, who was gagging for a 15 kill game the other day. And we are trying to satisfy that particular predilection of Shahab's. It's also a tactical breakdown video. I am going to go through a lot of stuff that happens late game, which I think is extremely important. The way I take a couple of gunfights, a couple of them are patience, and another couple of instances are when to push. And the other thing I really want to talk about is the weaponry that I'm using. I'm going to use the AK, which I haven't actually used as much as I normally do these days because I've been getting a lot of different footage for different guns. I don't know if you noticed, I did an AUG video. I did a Mark 47 Mutant video. I've got a lot of other guns in the pan, like the UMP, which I've got just there. The MP7K. I've been doing a lot of these videos for weaponry, and they're on their way out there. I'm also doing an attachments video, and we're going to talk a little bit about why that's been so difficult. In fact, I'll break that down now after we get this push on, and then we're going to cut the middle part of the game out. We get a few kills in that, but there's nothing special, and I really want to go through the whole end of the game without cutting it up into clips so we can talk through all the process. The thing we're doing here particularly, which I like, is if you land and you get a knock and you know that your targets are isolated and you're in a 4-man, you can really pressure that home and get a win. Like, watch this. I'm going to just push through. The guy's going to try and take my engagement. I'm going to move back. Baz is going to get the hit on him. Barry's then going to go and hold that corner. The guy's going to take Barry's engagement. I'm going to clear Barry's target. This is what happens when you pressure teams after you get an edge, but you don't just go running straight at them, W key. So the attachments video is coming. There's been some weird stuff going on with the language on the tooltips for the attachments, and I'll let you in on a little secret. The suppressor lowers the size of the reticle. Like, the reticle gets smaller when you're ADS and you put a suppressor on the gun. It also gets smaller when you put a muzzle brake on and when you put a compensator on. Now, that's three characteristics that you wouldn't expect those three to share. It doesn't get smaller when you put the flash hider on. And there is no tooltip that corresponds for all three. The only thing on the suppressor that makes any difference at all outside of it's quieter and makes less noise is shot spread. But shot spread doesn't exist on the others. So I'm having a hard time proving what that does. And I don't know if you know this, but there's a lot of videos on attachments out there by YouTubers who just use one of the AI voiceover bots and type stuff in, and they're dog shit. They don't tell you anything about the attachments. This is the best one for stability when you fire. They don't tell you what stability is. This one doesn't have recoil recovery, like they're looking at the half grip, and they don't tell you what it is. Like, I don't want to put another one of those videos out. I've got good attachment videos out there. I've done recoil analysis on all kinds of things. And if you want to watch some crap video like that with an AI voiceover, not talking about Zendex. Zendex is a different cup of tea. He is a wonderful human being. Don't you dare take those words out of your mouth. I'm talking about some of the other YouTubers who I shall not name. Anyway, this video. We're in a really nice spot here. And I'm running two of my favorite things. The barrel extender for sniper and the barrel extender for AR. The barrel extender on the AK here is absolutely broken, and you're going to see it. I'm going to drop shot someone. I'm going to hit a bunch of limb damage shots, and it's going to save us. And I'm going to finish after clearing two of the targets on like 1 health, right? We've only got 4 kills here. Shahab wanted 15, so stick around, Shahab. It's going to get busy enough. The AKM's old... Let me just tell you what the barrel extender used to do. Nothing. Okay. Rather than take it out of the game, they changed it because the barrel extender's original thing was to improve damage over distance, but they'd already given that to compensators. If you had a compensator on a DMR that was a sniper compensator, it lowered the damage drop off over distance, which meant that what the barrel extender said it was doing was pointless. There is no drop in bullet speed in PUBG Mobile, so it wasn't going to help with that. The only thing that happens in PUBG Mobile when you see bullet drop is that's an artificial bullet drop. What do I mean by that? Well, the M24's got about 810 meters a second bullet speed, right? When you fire it, it comes out the end of the nozzle, 810 meters a second. At 300 meters, it's still doing 810 meters a second. At 400 meters, there has been no drop in the bullet speed. It's still doing 810 meters a second. The bullet drop is just an artificial stat that they've put on the weapon. So some weapons do actually have more bullet drop than others. But
watch out. That
means that the barrel extender really had no job. Rather than just admit that and pull the thing, or maybe make it a attachment that gives less bullet drop, means you don't get bullet drop, they added damage to it. And the AKM's damage was great already, 47.9. It's now 49 when you're running a barrel extender. But the limb damage used to be 32 and it's now 33. Now that's a big difference. The reason being that when you hit 3 shots at 32, that's 96. 4 hit points isn't a lot, but maybe you're healing up from an old engagement and you don't have 4 extra hit points, so you get knocked. But if you do, say you're on 99, well, that's not enough either. So if you are not completely 100% health, if you are not 100% healed up, the AKM will knock you with 3 limb shots. And I don't know if you realize this, but it doesn't take long to press the button and have it fire 3 rounds. You fire the first round at 0 as soon as you press the button, and then there is under 0.15 of a second before you fired those 2 rounds. Now, I take a back, and I'm patient here. I'm patient. And I peek and lean, but I'm pulling straight back in, right? Now, they first McDingling. Dingers was at the front. That was unfortunate when the whole thing happened. And the 2 are now pushing right. Everyone else is knocked. Did you see how many limb shots we hit in that guy when we drop shot? That was crazy. And look at this. I've got 0.5 of a hit point left. And if it wasn't for that AKM barrel extender, that's an engagement that we don't win. One of those guys had a self-revive. The big decision you've got to face here is, do we push the self-revive or do we get the revive on our teammate? That's why I wanted to thirst up the knock. I thought with only a couple of hit points left, it was probably crazy to go out there on 155 ping and try to blind push a dude who would only have to sneeze on me to kill me. And I don't want to get thirsted, so I'm actually just going to taunt this guy. I'm just going to run away from him. You saw in the opening sequence how I just moved along and Barry and I switched roles, whereas I was a DPM, he was the meat shield. I'm just going to run around and let the boys pinch him. There we go. Too easy, lemon squeezy. On to 8 kills, 16 left. That's what I was really worried about, getting knocked and everyone around us getting thirsted. As this is one of those great compounds where lots and lots of action happens, but it's not safe on any side. You can see the walls. The map design team have really knocked this one out of the park, because if these walls were solid, this compound would be OP and it would feature a lot more heavily in the reward rather than the risk side of the column. As it is, though, that's not the case at all. Now, we've got to make a very interesting decision here, and I choose to go hard left. I know there's people in that compound on the right. I know that they'll be on the rooftops. There's people on our left. There's a lot left. So we decide we're just going to try and clear a squad. Now, there is a guy just got knocked over here, and I'm like, that DSR probably knocked one of these dudes. Now's a good time to push. Lo and behold, if you're watching the kill feed, there you go. And I got DSR'd on the pickup. That guy is a pain in the ass. He's just been revived. He thirsted up Stevie. And I got to get back behind this before they get into me. Now, we don't have a vest left. We lost Steve, we lost Dingers,
Watch out.
but we got through it. And those guys over there have obviously just had someone knocked as well. We're getting off this mountain as quickly as possible. That was heart in the throat stuff. Now, why did we push like that? That might seem like the craziest push ever, but look, we weren't in the circle. Every compound was taken. And of all the places to be, this was the best if we got the circle in the next engagement. So if I'm going to fight anyone, I'd rather fight, as the old army saying is, I'd rather fight for hills than holds, right? And this is a big hill, and if we got the circle here, we would have had a huge advantage. As it is, we didn't get it. There's one. There's two. AKM dropping absolutely monster bombs of damage now. Remember, you're doing 49 base damage, so unless they're wearing level 3 gear, every shot is a really big ouchie from an AR. 7 left. 2 of us. There is someone at Bamboo. Now, there is also someone on our right. I just don't realize that they're different teams. I thought the last person left might have been in the field behind Bamboo coming in, but he's actually on that rock just there. Unfortunately, this is a vehicle that is out of Le Juice. So, no love there. Couple of smokes left. Little bit of a miscommunication here from me and Baz. Barry's already taken off. I thought that was going to be in, so I blow 2 of my smokes, and then I realized Barry's not in. We're going to have to keep going. This is unfortunate, but it's the way of the world. We still smoked in past the rock, so that's all right. Now, they're still fighting. That makes me pause here at this rock. I'm like, what's going on here, dude? Where are all the peoples? There's 5 people left, but there's no one in front of us. And I want to push into that rock before they can get there. And I'm like, oh, shit. They've got to the rock. Now, Barry got the second one. I'm about to push out when another one pops on the left side. This is a really tough decision here. It's made a lot easier by the circle, but whether to push or hold was when to push, when to hold. That molly is not so much to kill, it's to stop anyone from coming around on my right side and give me a chance to breathe. Baz is going to move up on the left. We're down to a 2v3. Now, I don't know if it's a 2v2v1 or a 2v3 natural, because those guys on the right and the guys on the left were already fighting when we pulled in here. Oh, it was a 2v... Oh, my God. Thank you very much, little AK. You are a wonderful, wonderful bit of kit. I should have died there. I should not have won that engagement. Now, you can climb this. I've climbed it before. I can't remember how right at this point. And I'm very worried about trying to climb it as these last 2 players, who are obviously together, start rolling around on the corners. Now, there is a big surprise here. Namely, one of these guys is on the top of the rock. I did not realize he was on the top of the rock. I am kind of surprised he's on the top of the rock. I don't understand how he got up there. I swap out my my M24 because obviously there's no more need to snipe. And this is really just housekeeping stuff, but that's exactly who I am. I want to have everything perfect at the end of the game. And I honestly don't understand how this guy got up there. I've got no throwables left. Baz is going to get mollied and grenaded, so he's going to have to move in, and that makes us narrow. That means we don't really have a flank angle anymore, right? If they tried to push around there, Barry would have had the angle on one side and I would have had the angle on the other. As it is now, we're both pinned in the middle of the map, just like the other 2 guys. Well, at least just like I think the other 2 guys are. I realize I'm just going to try and get up here. We need to get on top of this. I'm just going to spam, vault, spam, vault. Yep, we're up. Now, he's on top. I don't know how you get on top. He must have been recalled, which makes me think that he doesn't have enough ammo. Barry gets done by this bloke. And then the last guy goes down to Thirst Baz, and we get the kill. And my only thought there was that he got recalled and landed on the top of that rock, which meant he only had a very, very limited amount of ammunition. I need to get up there and check because I don't think he could see me where I was. And I think it's all conjecture, but we got pretty bloody lucky in that one. I mean, if you look at it, I can't figure out how he got up there. Anyway, Shahab, I hope you enjoyed that one. AKM with a barrel extender, absolutely monstrous. Cannot be denied. And the M24 becomes a different animal when you put it on as well. Look after yourselves. Stay safe in the battlefield. Please like and subscribe. Bye for now.